Good afternoon. Welcome to your favorite current affairs program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. My name is Egosa Agbonlao. Welcoming you to this week's edition of the program. A lot of talking points. COVID-19 and of course, federal government palliative in focus. We are looking at government palliative as regards COVID-19. Don't forget that COVID-19 has led to the shutdown of the FCT, Lagos and Ogun, which was part of the nationwide broadcast of President Buhari. Additional 14 days of shutdown. And of course, that has triggered a lot of issues. So many people are now asked to stay at home. In some states, it is also total shutdown because of rising cases of coronavirus. Some other states, partial shutdown. Government workers, in some states, between level 1 and 12, they've been asked to stay indoors, to stay at home, and their salaries are paid. COVID-19 and government palliatives is what we are looking at today. It has also revealed that there are so many Nigerians who earn on a daily basis. They go to work today, whatever they earn is what they use to survive, to feed their families. COVID-19 has revealed that. And this sect of people are saying they need government palliative to cushion the effect of COVID-19. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, on today's show, I have two eminent personalities. I have a clergyman and of course, a political and social analyst, Bishop Fred Agedo. Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
I also have in the studio a clergyman and also an erudite legal practitioner in Edo State, Barrister Pastor Jim Osagede. Nice to have you today.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now, today's program is an abridged version, but I know that you will enjoy every aspect of the program. We'll start with Jim Osagede. Now, what's your take on COVID-19? And of course, what should be the way palliatives should get to the people?
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
And good afternoon to you all. It's already common knowledge that the disease called COVID-19 is ravaging the whole world. It has moved from the stage of endemic to pandemic because almost everybody is affected by this menace of COVID-19. It has come to Nigeria. There's no mistake about that. And it's already ethnicity, from the reports that we get in the news media, from the radio, from the government, and so on and so forth. COVID-19, I believe that the publicity and the attention that is given to COVID-19 is because of the effect it has on international community, the effect it has on developed countries. Otherwise, there are some endemic diseases in Nigeria, such as Lassa fever, malaria, so on and so forth, that has killed more people than COVID-19. So I believe very strongly because in the fact that because it has affected the superpowers in the world, that is why we are giving all this attention. If we are giving this type of attention to other diseases that are ravaging the society, I believe that by now we probably will be free from all these, infectious and contagious diseases.
Yeah, let me interject, Jim Osagede. I think the point you're trying to make now, if I get you correctly, you believe that COVID-19 has exposed the rot in the health sector? Is that the point you're making?
Exactly. God has a way of doing his things. I believe that God, he's still on his throne, and he's aware of these things that are going on. It's a wake-up call. It has exposed the inability of the health sector to cater for the vulnerable. It has revealed to the whole world that Nigeria does not have, what it takes in the health sector to be able to manage all these community-related diseases. You can see the helter-skelter, in spite of the low number that we are having in Nigeria. Government is running, from north to south, working 24 hours, trying to set up isolation centers and the rest of them. When the index case came into Nigeria, it was as though, well, that is just one, is going to come and go. But the frantic efforts that various governments are making right now, even from the federal level, from Abuja to Benin City to Akure, to Port Harcourt, it shows that, the government was not really prepared for it. Because if you look at the common facilities that are supposed to be available, from face masks to hand gloves, to sanitizers, they were really not there. And these are things that were supposed to be in stock. I believe that after Ebola, all these things ought to have been put in place, because you never can tell what will happen, being a contagious disease. So it has shown, COVID-19, as bad as it is, I pray that none of us will have, direct contact. I pray for those who, who are suffering from it. God will give them respite. Those who have died, our heart goes out to their families. But COVID-19 has, rearranged the world. If COVID-19 was happening in developing countries alone, for example, if it was in Nigeria alone, I'm sure by now, even the deputies in all facets of the leadership of the country would have also escaped to the developed countries. But right now, there's nowhere to go.
Nowhere.
So we have to be here to, to deal with it ourselves. So I believe that post-COVID-19 Nigeria, should be better than, pre-COVID-19 Nigeria, especially in the health sector and the educational sector. So I like
that's a great one. But let's get the thought of Bishop Fred Hagedu. What's your take on COVID-19? Yes.
I want to support my brother so much, but let me pick my own from this angle that you don't talk about palliative or look for solution to a problem where you don't even know the cause. The first thing is, let's find out what is the cause. And in trying to find out what is the cause, we discover that the knowledge of men has failed. God just wants to draw an attention to him. Nobody, 5 years ago, if anybody prophesied to you that the whole world can be shut down because of epidemic, will you believe it? Nobody will believe it. So God is still on the throne, and God is trying to let the world know that when everything gets soured wrong, back to me. I am there for you. Now, I am so glad of this sickness that have come, because it's not going to reach me, it's not going to reach you, it's not going to reach the poor masses.
Amen.
They are just running. This is a kind of sickness and ailment that comes that respect the less privileged. And it started from the palace. It started from the rock. People who went to hide themselves in the rock are the one passing through it now. And when he finishes dealing with them, it will stop. It will not get to market. It will not get to a common man. It's a spiritual disease. Please read the handwriting of God on the wall. I'm not just talking as if he's talking. This is not criticism. This thing is real. COVID-19 is real. Whatever name you call it, they will later call it another name. Right to this day down. The name will also change. But when we were hearing Vision 2020, about 20 years ago, we never knew that this was what he was holding for us. Another one will come again. What are you talking about isolation? What are you talking about COVID-19? 1998, I was in Germany, just having a malaria and cough. I was isolated. They don't know the treatment of malaria. They don't. I was there for a good 1 week. Until I realized that for the past 4 or 5 days I've been here, no doctor attended to me. They said, we don't have this kind of sickness in Germany. In the civilized world, there is nothing like malaria. We all know the cause of malaria here. Which Nigerian man you are going to test the body that does not have body temperature? If you quarantine everybody are going to be declared sick and having what they call it COVID-19. I'm telling you the truth. No matter the air condition you stay. If they say you contact it with your hands and with your face, I tell you the truth, the heat here, the way my palm is even hot, no demon, no sickness can stay on it. I don't know about you. So this is God coming in a different dimension that men cannot discover. If the way they are talking about this sickness, that is how Jesus Christ is being preached on every television, nobody will continue in sin. We will repent. In the way they are propagating, in the way, in fact, look at it now. Everybody want to wear gold. But before gold become gold, he has to pass through fire. You can imagine that the secretary to federal government said he never knew that health facility is as bad as what he's saying now.
He said it was quoted out of context.
No matter how you revise it, no matter how you revise it, now that in the hospital you don't even have face mask. What are you talking about? They have never been to our hospital here. Many of them go on weekend in London and all the rest. But now the heat is much there that the people there, they want to run back home. Where are our people going to? For the first time, aircraft is no longer in the sky. Can the woman in the market fly an aircraft? Even from here to Abuja, we say the road is bad. Is everybody that fly? Many are going with chartered choppers and all the rest. So this sickness will end up with them. They brought it, it will end with them. It will not reach the poor people. Let us open our church and our market. There is just nothing. God is only showing a sign. This is one sign. Another one will come before the year end, and then the rich will cry bitterly.
Well, let me quickly interject and clear gray areas. I believe what Bishop Fred Agedo is talking about is that COVID-19 is real, very important. We must actually listen to what the Minister of Health has informed Nigerians. And we are advised to wash our hands. If you notice in the studio, there's what we call social distancing. You see the spacing. The government has told us 1 meter. That's about 3 feet. You can see the spacing because independent television, the management of independent television and radio always comply with the rules. And that's what we do here. So social distancing, don't be in a crowded area. You must avoid crowded areas. You must wash your hands. Avoid handshakes. That's why we've not had handshake in the studio. Then if you want to sneeze or you want to cough, you use maybe a disposable tissue, handkerchief, or you use your elbow like this. So you must adhere to this. But Bishop Fred Agedo is a clergy man, and so he's talking from
the spiritual
angle.
Yes.
So you need to understand the context of his language. But he also referred to the fact that there was a time was in Germany and issues of malaria are not understood. But this is a global pandemic, and I believe that they are saying no cure for now, but you can avoid it. We've seen cases in Nigeria, people have recovered. It's not a death sentence. In Lagos State has become a model. They are doing very well. But let's continue. Now, we'll come back to Jim Osagede. Yes, we have all agreed that coronavirus is real. We've seen short lockdown of cities, of states, especially the FCT, Lagos, Ogun, because it was contained in the speech of President Buhari. We've seen what's happening in Delta. There's a lockdown. Only yesterday there was protest in Sapele, Delta State. Now, there's offshoots of this lockdown. Now, let's talk about the palliatives. When we're going to discuss that, there's a footage you're going to see. It's unconfirmed footage. It was gotten via social media where there was distribution, there was crowded area, and part of ways of avoiding COVID-19 is not to be in crowded area. So how do you think palliatives should really be given to these vulnerable Nigerians?
Thank you very much. Okay. I want to quickly say that just like you have said, COVID-19 is real. We cannot run away from that fact. As much as we pray to God to take care of the spiritual aspect,
yes,
we also have to follow the lead of the medical practitioner.
Yes.
All the way from WHO to NMA and the rest of them. It's obvious that right now there's no cure, neither is there any vaccine.
Okay.
So what we have is that those whose immune system are able to withstand, and probably you have a ventilator, then you can come out of it. So we should also obey the government, wear the face masks, hand gloves, social distancing, avoiding crowded places. Now, coming to the palliative, you know, I think is actually a Herculean task for government to be able to find a, you know, an equitable way to distribute palliative, because the yardstick that the government, like the brokers, you know, the recent information, I think yesterday or this morning, that the federal government has arranged with the CBN that they will give 20,000 naira to every citizen that has less than 5,000 naira in his or her account. You know, what about those who don't have accounts at all? You know, a bulk of Nigerians live in the rural area. How are you going to assess them? But I believe that INEC can be very useful in the distribution of palliative. INEC has a dossier of all the units, all in the nooks and crannies of Nigeria. You know, it has a dossier of, you know, those who come out to vote and the rest of them. If you use the voting units, you can reach the people. You know, to avoid crowd, you can get the, you know, the law enforcement agencies, you get the materials, you maintain social distancing, and you give it out. But the problem we are having right now in Nigeria, we are also having in Benin City, is that the palliative that has been distributed by the government, you know, is already, you know, in the sphere, social sphere, that even some people, they went to give to their leaders, political leaders. Leaders are not the people that need the palliative. The people who need the palliative are the common people on the street. You know, so it's going to be a Herculean task. The best way that government can do it, if you have enough, for instance, if you want to give 1 bag of rice or half bag of rice to every household, that you can segment the city, or you can segment, you know, the rural area, depending on where you are dealing with, you know, into different zones. If, for instance, that today you are going to distribute rice to every household, you know, from Ring Road up to Oluku, up to ITV, lock down Ring Road, ITV, Oluku, nobody should come out. So as they get to your doorstep, they give you your palliative. You are signing for whatever you want to do. Move from one part of the city to another. That is the only way that you can, you know, ensure equitable distribution, where somebody will not get multiple times and some will not even get at all. I believe that those are some of the things that the government can consider.
Thank you very much. Bishop Fred Agedo. Now, palliatives. Who are the vulnerable people? You are a man of God. You lead congregations. Who are the vulnerable people? How should government know them?
Well, from my own angle, I would say there is nothing human being on earth will ever do that can be perfect. If in the religious angle, we pastors are still corrupt, our traditional rulers are corrupt, who do we actually trust apart from God? So I would have said, let the government get churches involved, church leaders. In fact, not church leaders, because problem we have are the leaders. Go to church. We know about churches in Benin. We know it. But when you get to that again, you begin to hear which block. When you get to block, you say, who is the leader? That is the problem. You do not just say you are going to all the churches in Akpakpava. We know them. We get the rule for the prince, the person in charge. How many congregational members do you have? You drop it and believe it. That's what happened in Italy. That's what happened in the civilized country. So if you not say, church member, go. If you are hungry, go and take food. The war, it will get to everybody. Even in the villages. There are villages where you have only 2 churches. If you are not a pagan, you are a Christian. If you are not a Christian, you may be a Muslim believer too. You have it like that. Just go and drop these things there. And they will share it within their people. So if I'm a Muslim and I see that something has been brought to my mosque, I'll go there and stand and get ready for it. But the way it's going, there is nothing they are going to do that is going to be perfect. There will definitely be error. Even if they do it well, we human beings will criticize.
Okay.
But
who is vulnerable? Who are the vulnerable?
The vulnerable are actually the poor that serve God.
Okay.
When I go that way again, the poor that serve God. Yeah. How many pilots have ever been to church? Pilots, medical doctors, professors. They don't.
Some do go. Some are even some are clergymen.
They just
some are open churches.
Some have done that. Yes. But I am telling you, if you are talking of vulnerable, you should be talking of that less privileged person.
Yes. How do we know them? How do we know them?
They are not difficult to know. Like in my area, I know them all.
Okay.
I know them all. There are some of them that are even married. They have no children. There are some of them, some of us are paying house rent for. How much is the house rent? 1,500. Some of them 500.
And they are unable to afford.
They are unable to, yes. During Christmas, during New Year, we share food for them.
So these are the vulnerable.
These are the vulnerables. So churches are doing that. Some churches are doing that.
Yeah.
But you also have some churches that are still hungry. That even the pastor himself is vulnerable. He can't pay. How many pastors are not paying their rent?
Yeah.
Thank you, Bishop. Let's get Jim a second.
Well, you know, it's interesting.
Okay.
Well, you know, I personally, each and every one of us here, we are expressing our personal opinion.
Exactly.
You know, I don't subscribe to what Bishop said that
Yes.
you can use the
Churches and mosques.
You know, it becomes so segmented. You know, let the churches take care of their congregation. You know,
But the Bishop is
That's what I said.
no, not materials that will come from government that the church will help to distribute.
Okay.
Let the church generate,
Okay.
you know, palliative measures and work, you know, and give to the
A church
members.
that have 5 members,
Yes.
and there is no single civil servant in that church. How will it take care
No,
of?
the church that have 5 members.
Yes.
And the pastor has a calling.
Yes.
You know, that church cannot suffer. Except you don't have a calling, you just plant a signboard. That's when you have issues. Well, that's on the lighter mode.
Yes.
You know, those who are vulnerable are the peasants.
Okay.
Those who cannot eat without going out to eke out a living. Those are the people that are vulnerable. The graduates who have no job to do. You know, the pensioners, you know, who is still, you know, well, I understand the state government is paying pension now, but the pensioner who have written his gratuity in his will, that he will not get the gratuity in his lifetime. Maybe the children will go out and they approach the court and the rest of them. The tenants who, for no cost of theirs, are unable to pay rent. Though you see them, they are very easy to know if you walk into a community. You see the vulnerable. Those who are begging on the streets, they are vulnerable. Those who doesn't have a means of livelihood, those who are losing their jobs now. You are talking about drivers are crying right now, even though, you know, they are no more paying because of the government regulation. People who are self-employed.
They are never paying tickets.
These palliative measures that government wants to give out, civil servants should be at the bottom of the scale of preference.
You should say excluded.
No, they should be at the bottom. In case you have surplus, you can remember them because their salaries are still going on. God bless the government for doing that. But for those who cannot feed except they go out, those are the people. The mechanics are crying. Those who have you know, issues with their cars, they are not able to access even the banks right now. For you to go in and get your money, even to use the ATM, you know, you have to stay on the queue for a very long time. Yeah. So the vulnerable, I think the federal government came out with the
description. All Nigerians are vulnerable.
No, sir. If you don't have food in your house right now, but you have money in your account, you are not vulnerable. You understand? You have hope. There are people in Nigeria that are hopeless. With due respect to them, that is, you don't even know what you are going to eat as we are speaking now. Some people don't know what they are going to eat this evening, if at all it will come. Those are the people that we are talking about. Those over time, they are not able to go to the hospitals, they cannot buy, you know, simple paracetamol and the rest of them. Those are the people that are vulnerable. Okay. They are not, you know, political associates or leaders or this and that. Those are not the people. Okay. Even in some mainstream professions, they have those who are vulnerable. Is that you are a starter just coming up, or, you know, if you don't do this on a daily basis, you don't get money. And I don't want to mention that.
I understand.
Those are the people that are vulnerable.
Okay, thank you. Bishop Fred Agedu. Now, this lockdown issue, partial lockdown, do you think is the best way to actually curtail this spread of coronavirus?
Well, if that is what World Health Organization recommended, it's okay for them, but I am saying from the spiritual angle that this problem is in the air. Whether you are in your house, if this thing is coming to meet you, it's coming to meet you. And whether you are walking in the street.
But they say it's not airborne.
It is.
Let's make it clear. They say it's not airborne.
Well, I am not a medical person.
Yeah. Okay.
But notwithstanding, since it's a thing that you can contact through shaking, through breathing, through whatever, I think it's airborne. I think they are also death-free. And I said when I started today that you don't find solution to problem you don't even know the cause. So why don't let them go into research and find out the cause of this thing before they'll be able to bring out a good
so that's the reason they are suggesting now that people should put on nose masks, face masks.
Yeah, categorically,
Yes.
from medical palace,
Yes.
The experts have told that it's not airborne. But I don't think that blanket statement is enough. Because, for instance, to prevent somebody from spreading the virus through sneezing and coughing, the primary motion when you sneeze, the air is the air that propels it.
Yes, so that's why they are saying social distancing.
Yes, but ordinarily, airborne diseases are diseases that are in the air, whether there's a
whether it falls down or not.
But this one is by contact.
By contact. That's what they've told us.
I'm not going. If anybody is sneezing, is he going to sneeze on your body?
No, sir. If you see,
the answer is no.
So that's why they say social distancing.
There's a research that is going on in Japan right now.
Okay.
Some medical experts they are analyzing the speed of pathogens.
Okay.
When you sneeze, how far does it go? And how many particulates can remain in the atmosphere?
Okay.
If you see the way, if you see the magnification, when from one person sneezing from two nostrils, if you look at it in a microscope, the whole room is enveloped by, but you cannot see with your naked eye. So we still have to follow the government lead. So protect ourselves.
Thank you very much. Your parting words, Bishop Fred Agedo. Just your parting words.
Let the world return back to God.
Okay.
What we are seeing is just sign that God is supreme. Human being has no cure to this. To my belief, I just believe that this thing has come to stay in the world. It may not have an end.
Thank you very much. Your party was...
well, I believe that as bad as coronavirus is, the COVID-19, it has rearranged the world system. It has humbled everybody. My prayer is that at the end of this COVID-19, the humility that even the highest leader has acquired now, should not disappear. Right now, we know that everybody is the same. Nobody is bigger than
Thank you, Chief Sagede. Well, I think what my guests, the point they've canvassed here is that COVID-19 does not respect a big man, in quotes, does not know whether you are a rich man, whether you are a poor man. What government is saying is social distancing, avoid crowded places, use your face mask or your nose mask. When you want to sneeze, use a disposable tissue or handkerchief or use your elbow. So you must follow government directive on avoiding COVID-19. Okay, I've just been told by the director that that's all we can, that's all time will allow us on this program. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being a part of this program. I hope you've enjoyed this week's edition of 60 Minutes Nigeria. My name is Egosa Agbonlao. By God's grace, next week, Thursday, we'll be here again to look at other issues. Bye-bye.